Welcome back, everyone, to another fundamental movement lesson. In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about the deep squat, and we're going to be focusing on how to deep squat properly so that we can open up the hip joints, maintain extension in our thoracic spine, and activate our glutes, our hamstrings, and our quads to come up from the deep squat. All right, so let's talk about how to perform this movement. We're going to start first with 2 yoga blocks, kind of as a beginner-friendly way to do this. If you need to continue to put more yoga blocks on top of each other, go for it, because we're trying to squat as deep as possible. If you don't need the yoga blocks, then just get rid of them. So we're going to start with 2 yoga blocks first. I'm going to have Shannon stand with those yoga blocks right in the middle of her legs. She's going to kind of just eyeball it and gauge where her butt would be landing on that yoga block. Her feet are going to be in a wide position, a little wider than her shoulders, kind of in that hip hinge position. She's going to first start maintaining a stable base with her foot. So we're going to open up the feet, splay the toes out. We're going to let the pinky toe hit the ground first and the big toe hit the ground last, standing on those 3 points of contact. Now what she's going to do is she's going to let her hands come in over her head. She's going to bring her hands together into a prayer position and drop them into her heart space. Now she's going to start to drop down and descend, but very slowly. The key here, guys, while you're doing this, is I want you to go as slow as possible, creating an eccentric contraction, and now your muscles are fighting against gravity as you're descending down. She's going to keep dropping, dropping, dropping until her butt hits the block. And the key here is that now she's on the block, she can kind of relax the engagement of her muscles and just rest there. I want her to push against her legs so that her hips open up a little bit more into that external rotation. Taking a deep breath in using the breath lift technique, I want her to pay attention to her thoracic spine, allowing it to come more in extension. Now, what I don't want is for her to lean forward. A lot of times when people do deep squats, they tend to lean forward into flexion. The back starts to round, the pelvis starts to tuck underneath you. This is because we have very tight hips that pull you into this flexion state. We're trying to combat that pattern, and we're trying to initiate more extension in your body. So go ahead and lean forward for me one more time, Shannon. Don't let your body slouch forward. Be conscious of this. Breathe and let the breath lift you up in this position. Try to breathe into the areas that feel very tight. Breathe into your hips. If you feel tight sensations, bring the breath to that sensation. Imagine there's a little balloon in that tight area, and that balloon is filling up, creating more space. Don't fight the sensation. Try to breathe into it. Rest in the discomfort. From here, how do we come out of this? I want Shannon, just like how we do our hip hinges within this course, we're going to be focusing on activating the muscles, turning on, drawing our heels into the ground, back and in. This is going to create stability within our leg muscles, so they're already activated before we even start coming up. So she's charging her system. And now once the muscles are on, she's going to push through her heels, driving up nice and slow. And when she comes to the top, she's going to reach her hands over her head. She's going to contract her core and squeeze her glutes, coming back into a light extension. Come back into extension, 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 extension. Good. And then reset, bringing those hands over her into her heart space. And we're going to take the blocks away, and go ahead and do that again, Shannon. This is going to be for a more advanced version, dropping down all the way nice and slow into a deep squat, making sure the pelvis is not tucking, making sure the lower body is staying in extension throughout the thoracic cage, all the way up to the top of your head. Now she's here, no blocks, and this is where she gets to play. This is where I want you guys to explore, resting, maybe rocking from side to side. Just being here a couple minutes a day is enough to reset that flexion pattern and help create more mobility in your hips. Once we're in this position, a couple seconds, she's going to then initiate the ascending phase of it, coming up, squeezing through her heels, squeezing her glutes at the top, lifting her hands overhead, reaching back, finding stability in her whole interior chain, holding there, and bringing her hips back to center, or bringing her arms back to center. Perfect. All right, guys, let's talk real quick, a real beginner friendly version of this too, with a chair support. So Shannon's going to be using a chair or anything that you can hold on to. Again, if you feel like you need a lot of work with your deep squat, we do recommend you take the time to find something to help you create that balance. So she's going to simply lean onto the chair holding here. Good. She's got to drop down into that supported hip hinge, and then she's got to drop into a deep squat while holding onto the chair. If she needs to feel around which part of the chair feels more stable, she can hold here, she can hold there. Essentially, what she's doing is she is allowing her body to rest a little bit onto the chair, which takes some weight off of the hips. If your hips aren't used to a deep squat, it can become very painful, but the benefits of this outweigh the sensation of pain. Trust me. So with that being said, that's how we perform the deep squat.